own. It's actually Waterberg's, but I've brought it back to life. And here I am today.
Amazing.
What about you?
Oh, wow, I've loved astrology since I can remember, since I was little. I've always had my head in the stars. But I was using Western astrology for a long time, and then it must be like 3 years ago now, and I was posting about astrology on my timeline, and somebody, I can't even remember who it was now, said the moon isn't in Cancer, it's in such and such, and I was like, what? But it was such a big gift because it sent me on this new path, and then I found you, and yeah, and it's just I love working with the moon and the cycle, so a lot of my work is for Pillars of the Moon. It's to do with the Celtic wheel of the year and how the 13 moons in the calendar. So I'm quite interested in the Mayan calendar and all of that kind of stuff. So I'm just weaving together all of the stars and the seasons, and yeah, it's really beautiful.
Yeah, I love your work. You know, I love the way you go deep into things, you know, and yeah, you know, I remember when I first met up with you, you just threw all these articles my way, and I was like, wow, wow. Like, where'd you get all this information from? Because it was all so relative to what I was doing in my own work, you know, working with Black Moon Lilith and the sign of Ophiuchus. And, you know, for those of you that don't know, the sun signs are actually depicted by what constellations sit along the path of the sun, which is called the ecliptic. And this giant constellation has been ignored for like centuries, but she's always sat there. And, you know, 13 Star Sign Astrology actually includes her because she does sit on the ecliptic. And we call her a she, but it's actually a he, but it's a she-he, if you can. You know, it's a feminine and masculine, but in energy. So very closely connected to Aquarius, because that's the umbilical cord, you know, or Ophiuchus is the son of Aquarius. So how he got or she got kicked off the ecliptic and ignored for all this time is just a little bit kind of like, you know, why?
Why, exactly, why? It's a very powerful sign, isn't it? And
Very powerful, yeah.
talking about, you know, your son is in a focus as well, so it's like this is probably a big reason why you're so passionate about it, because it's a big part of who you are.
Yeah, and I think with most of Fuca's people, and even other star signs have come to me and said, you know, I never really felt like her. I never really related to it. And it's not like any really form of divination determines who you are. It's just a guidance. It's just a guideline. You know, when you sort of read your astrology book, you go, oh yeah, I can relate to that. Oh yeah. You know, so it's like a guideline, but people have said to me, like there's a lady I know, she's a Cancerian in 13 Star Sign Astrology, but she's a strong woman, you know, and she's very out there. I mean, she's very entertaining, she's very in the limelight. And she says, you know, even though I've got all this Leo passion and people say I'm a typical Leo, she said, I've never felt like one. She said, I've always felt the Cancerian energy. She loves cooking, she loves home, she loves family. And even she's very creative. So Cancer in the true lifetime sky actually rules the 5th house, not the 4th house. So the sign of Cancer is all about creativity. It's all about children. And, you know, Leo, which was the original ruler of the 5th house. Can you see me? Because I've got a notification through. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he's more about health now because, I mean, in this day and age, we're more about sun health and vitamin D and stuff like that. So it's all, you know, the sky's always moving. So, you know, we will eventually enter into the age of Aquarius, but right now we're still in the age of Pisces, but we're in the vital stage of the age of Pisces. We're at 8 degrees, that's the crystal energy, but that's much Saturn's energy as well.
Yeah. And the 1-1-1-1 and 2020 added together today, that's the 8, isn't it?
Yeah. Major ascensions today. you know. It's definitely, this today, I think, is definitely the kickstart to all the eclipses coming up and the
Mm.
conjunctions. And so this is the grand finale that we are now entering into astrologically.
Yeah, and it's been such a big year, hasn't it?
Oh, God.
So, well, let's go into because we've got some interesting alignments coming up. I mean, even tomorrow, isn't it? The 12th, we've got Jupiter and Pluto coming together.
Yeah,
And then
that's
Mars coming out of his
great.
retrograde as well, isn't he? Mars is coming forwards after his retrograde.
Oh, poor Mars. He's really been through it, I'm telling you.
Yes, a big healing journey in the waters of Pisces.
Yeah, I mean, he goes through this journey sort of like every other year. I think the last time, you know, he went through this particular journey was in probably 2018. Um, so, but when he comes out of Pisces into his own sign of Aries, wow, it's going to kick. It's in January, and in the GMT time zone, it's on the 4th of January, he enters into his own sign of Aries. And then on the 21st of January, he comes into conjunction with Uranus. So, yeah, that's going to be major. So, we're looking at January as being quite a month. I mean, after the December eclipses and conjunction as well, it kind of makes sense anyway.
Yeah, and I can feel like, you know, how it plays out in my own life. I really feel the energies. Um, and it's like he's been in the underworld. He's been conjunct Black Moon Lilith a lot and Chiron a lot. And it's like he's going into his fears, he's going into his shadows and all of his wounds. And now he's about to emerge from the water and come into the fire. And it feels like a phoenix energy, doesn't it? Like coming up and out and like it's
Yeah,
like it feels so powerful already, and I can feel him beginning to. It's like he's starting to swim up because it's starting to go forwards. I think is it tomorrow or the 14th? I think I've got the date down here.
14th, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, the 14th. And yeah, so he's beginning to see the light at the end of the tunnel now. So, but with the Mars energy, it can be very impatient. It's like, no, I want it now, you know. So still, he's in this quandary of impulsiveness and throwing tantrums, you know, or getting really melancholy. But I just feel the masculine energy at the moment is really going through a big awakening and is getting a lot of signs, a lot of symbols, and, you know, a lot of intuition. So, because the Pisces energy is a beautiful energy as well, but it goes too deep for the Mars to. It's like Mars is more like, no, I just want to be in the real world. You know, I want to be doing the real things, you know, whereas Pisces say, no, come with me, come on, let me give you some dreams. So, yeah, he has a little bit of a, because he loses his power in water, obviously, because he's fire.
Mm.
So, yeah, he's been on a tough journey this year.
Mm. Yeah, and coming to the end of, and also at the same time, nearly around the same, you know, only a few days apart, with Jupiter and Pluto coming together in their conjunction.
Yeah, I mean, this conjunction, oh, wow, I've got all my notes here. So I can't remember the cycle. I think it's every, well, the last one of 2020, right, okay. So the last one was in 2007. So how many years is that? 12, 13 years?
Yeah, something like
Yeah. Yeah, so the last one that took place was in 2007 in the sign of Sagittarius. So, and this time it's occurring in the sign of Sagittarius. So this is really, I mean, Jupiter is really all about abundance and richness, and Saturn is all about caution and restriction. So when they're coming into conjunction, it's a very competitive energy.
that. It's like the two big
So
boys coming together, isn't it?
yeah, well, you know, these are the leaders, you know, the outer planets are the leaders. So they do tend to run the economy. They do tend to, well, affect the economy, affect political movements, and, but also, you know, restructuring. Saturn, excuse me. No, with it's Pluto, isn't it? There's so many conjunctions this year. I've been so confused with who's going to be meeting up with who. It's like been
Yeah.
doing in.
Yeah,
But
we've got
26. Sorry, go on.
no. So with the Jupiter and Pluto coming together on the 12th, you know, they're still massive energies, aren't they? Pluto.
Very triggering energy, yeah. And this is the third one this year of them meeting, and the final one. So they met in direct mode around about, I think it was April, and then they met up again in retrograde, I think around about June. So this is the final one in direct mode. So this is Jupiter's meeting with Pluto before he meets Saturn on the 21st of December. So it's really funny when you do astrology and you watch the meetings and how they're all playing out energetically. You know, it's quite fascinating.
Yeah, it's like a conversation between two energies, isn't it? And then it's like the next conversation. So he has to meet with Pluto. Pluto and Jupiter have to meet first before Jupiter then goes and talks with Saturn. So it's like he's obviously got some information to come in from Pluto, and they're meeting together, which is tomorrow.
Yeah. And Pluto's a very dominating planet, even though he's only tiny, he's actually very dominating. And, you know, Jupiter and Saturn, they're a little bit more sort of like, oh, you know, let's compromise. So obviously Pluto is in Sagittarius at the moment. He will be entering into Capricorn in a couple of years' time. So obviously he's making his case of like what he wants in place before he gets to Capricorn. So it's down to Jupiter and Saturn to really sort out like this great reset.
The economy as well, and money and structures of systems that we've been living in for
Yeah.
such a long time.
Yeah, and you know, it can be quite devastating with the Plutonian energy because Pluto's quite happy just to wipe things out and replace them with something else without any warning, and it's normally a very destructive force. So, you know, obviously Jupiter and Saturn are doing their best just to like, well, you know, we can come up with a new plan, and but this is where we, the people, you know, we have to watch, we have to be involved. You know, we can't all just sit back and go, oh yeah, leaders of the world, we'll leave it to you, you know, because they're going to do what's best for them, aren't they? It's human nature.
Yeah. So it's about coming into power in our own self and asking, what do I want for my life and my children? And how do I create that?
Yeah. I mean, you know, with the Pluto Jupiter conjunction as well, it's like optimism versus pessimism.
Yeah.
And it's also like idealism versus materialism. So it's all about finding the balance, that in between, you know?
Yeah. Wow. Wow. And so as well, we have some eclipses coming up, don't we? We have the lunar eclipse, which is beyond the full moon, which will be in the sign of Taurus in the lifetime sky.
Yeah, it's on the 30th of November. So the eclipses really, I mean, the Ophiuchus energy, in the whole 7 years I've been working with 13 Star Sign Astrology, I've never seen Ophiuchus energy so strong. You know, because from when the South Node entered into Ophiuchus on the 2nd of September, it was like, that's the rumbling. Then like and that is the birthing of her energy. This is like the divine feminine is rising in big time. I mean, she's been doing a lot of work over the years. So now she's ready to birth, you know, but what is she birthing into right now? So, you know, there's a lot happening behind the scenes.
Yeah, and it's interesting as well because the lunar eclipse and the solar eclipse, they're mirroring the moon's nodes, aren't they? So the North Node is currently in Taurus, and so the full moon lunar eclipse will be in Taurus, and then the South Node is in Ophiuchus at the moment, and then the solar eclipse, which is coming up on the 14th of December, will be in Ophiuchus. So it's like the nodes are matching the eclipses, which feels so powerful. I don't know if
Yeah.
that happens often. No, it's quite a rare.
No. I don't, yeah, I mean, I think the last time the South Nodes were entered into a Fucus, oh, when was that? I can't remember now. I remember I mentioned it in one of my podcasts. I think it was around, oh yeah, it was 2002, or it was just 5 months after the 9/11 happened.
Wow.
The South Node entered a Fucus, and it's strange because it was 5 months or 5 or 6 months after we got hit with this virus in March
Mm.
that the South Node entered into a Fucus. So I definitely feel there's a relevance and a connection there. I mean, just like this Jupiter-Pluto conjunction, the last time that took place was in 2007. Well, that's when here in the UK, all the floods started.
Mm.
That's when we really started to notice the change in the weather patterns. And that's also the year we first kind of went into this recession that we're still in now, that just seems to be getting worse and worse. So, you know, we can see that, you know, these planets really do affect the climate and the economy.
Mm. Yeah. And like you were saying, like this year has just been so full of conjunctions and eclipses. We had extra eclipses this year that we don't have every year. So it just does feel like such a big year, and it's coming to the big ending now with like 2 more big eclipses that are, you know, on the nodes, and they're connected to the Ophiucan energy. And so it's like, what is going to happen over these next kind of 6 weeks? You know, it's such a short amount of time until we get to the Jupiter and Saturn meeting on the 21st of December, which is the solstice, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a solstice as well, which makes that even more powerful, really, in a way.
Mm.
So, you know, because I've been writing, you know, I've been studying the history of the conjunctions as well. But yeah, on the solstice, we have Jupiter and Saturn, but they're going to be in square to Uranus in retrograde in Aries. So this is really, you know, a time of where compromise is needed, but it's not going to be available. There's going to be this rush to make changes. There's going to be this strong urgency to make all these changes. But the thing is, you know, we have to understand that Rome wasn't built in a day. It's not going to be a reset like get out your magic wand and everything's going to change, and it's not going to be effective. Because, you know, this actual particular, I mean, the Saturn-Pluto conjunction that happens in January, I mean, that was powerful. That only happens every 38 years.
Mm.
But this Saturn-Jupiter conjunction, I think it happens every 20 years, but it's actually considered the great conjunction in astrology. And this is definitely, I mean, Jupiter and Saturn, I mean, they're the planets you use in business astrology, like with the stock markets and stuff like that. So the 21st of December is definitely is going to be all about the economy.
Wow. Because
Yeah.
I've been seeing so many different kind of what's the words, predictions and things like it's going to be something really big's going to happen on the 21st of December this year, and it's a big coming together, isn't it? Like you said, what did you say, the Great Conjunction, and it's coming on the solstice. You know, it's so, you can't make it up. It's so powerful, the alignments of how it all just like, right, okay, we're going to come together on this powerful day to do something really powerful. And it's like, it feels so big to me. It's such a big energy.
Oh. Yeah, this year, is it's been big throughout. And I mean, you know, we've had extra eclipses that we don't normally have. We've had all these like 38-year, 20-year, 13-year conjunctions all take place in the same year. And, you know, a Fucus is actually being involved in, since September more so, her energy, I've never seen her energy so involved with what's going on. So it really does show that there's a big, big shift going on. And it's not just with the economy, it's not just with politics, it's, you know, I mean, these conjunctions, I mean, it doesn't bode well for presidents, this particular conjunction. Do you know what I mean? When I've researched history, it's like, wow, you know, so, but it's also it's a big mass awakening when it comes to consciousness. And, you know, people being forced into this awakening, and which is very triggering. So this is why the Black Moon Lilith has been active. Because even though we all, you know, some people go, oh no, not Black Moon Lilith, you know, I always get really depressed when she's around. But she's actually there to help guide you through it. She's actually there to make you face your own soul, you know, because everyone wants to be in touch with their higher self, but no one really gets in touch with their own soul.
And she is like the gatekeeper. I feel her as like, she is the key to actually coming up, you know. It's the serpent energy, isn't it? That's kind of, that's the kundalini.
Yeah.
When we meet with her, it's like, okay, we really need to face the snake and the parts of ourselves that we're afraid of, and then ride on that, you know. Once we've kind of worked with her, you know, I've been working with her a lot, as you know, in my chart. So it's like, my goodness, okay, more Lilith. But she is like I said, the gatekeeper, the way to come into this like higher consciousness, I feel. So yeah, of course she's been playing her part this year massively, hasn't she? And
Yeah, because the higher octave of Ophiuchus is when once we've ascended, we're in that energy, but like that energy we can't stay in because it's in the ethers, it's like in the spirit realm. So, you know, anyone on this path know that they can spend months in that energy of bliss, of connection, but they can't stay there. We always have to come back down to earth and take it forward before we can go back there, you know. I mean, who wouldn't want to stay there? I mean, it's a beautiful energy. So, you know, the Black Moon Lilith, she is the shadow walker. She is like, you know, she is the energy that's like, come on, face it, you know, face your ego, face your fears, face your demons, because demons are man-made. So, you know, a lot of people don't like astrology because of Saturn and Pluto. It's Lucifer and it's Satan. But, you know, no, that all that, and the Black Moon Lilith with, you know, the Inanna and all the ancient history. So, I mean, all these people have been demonized throughout history. They've been turned into demons when actually they were just pretty much like we are today. Materialistic and all the rest. I won't go into it because it might be, you know, but yeah, I don't want to be offensive.
oh my goodness, I know, it's like you have such a well of wisdom, Kim. You're like, you've done so much research over your entire life. I think that you've just got so much wisdom to give. I feel like you could do so many more things. We have your regular podcast, don't you, every new moon and full moon, and you can go deeper into more of the energies of that. And I obviously do mine as well. So I'm just thinking, going into, I might just pop over to Facebook and just see if there's any questions, if anybody's been, because I've just been looking at you and your lovely face, Kim. I haven't seen
Oh, bless you. I can't even find it on my page. Let me refresh.
I'm hoping that it's still there. I've just been looking at you.
Yeah, no, we're on. We're on.
We're on. Let's just see if we've got any questions. We've got beautiful Jenna watching. And, let me see. At you and your lovely face, Kim. Oh, goodness.
Oh, bless you.
Right.
Yeah, it's not showing up on my Rastar page. Let me go to my group.
It says, Juliana said this year is reflecting my much need, same transition, changing and life lessons.
Oh, bless. Yeah.
If anybody has any questions, just please pop them in now, and we can answer them before we wrap everything up, because we're getting. How long have we been on now, Kim? Quite some.
It's 11:42.
Wow. So I just want to say as well, thank you, Kim, for all of your inspirations and how you've been sharing with me over the last year. I think I've learned so much from you, and I feel like such a soul connection with you. I feel so grateful to to know you and to be on this journey with you.
Yeah, no, it's beautiful because since doing this, I've met some really beautiful people, and like you make friends for life because you're all like-minded and you all connect really well. So yeah, it's fantastic.
Yeah, amazing. I'm just going to pop back over because I'll just wait to see if anybody has said anything.
No.
This year has been a big transformation. Yes, Julianne, it definitely has. My God, it's been such a big year, hasn't it? I remember actually in January at the time of the Pluto Saturn, is that right? In January?
Yeah.
Yes, I was in the Hypogeum. Do you remember in Malta? We went to one of the oldest temples in the world.
Oh,
And it was
yeah.
like, wow, it's such an initiation. It was like, wow, something really big's happening, something really big happening. And then we came back to England, and then, like you say, like all of the coronavirus stuff came up, and it's like, wow. So it's like we're having so many big conjunctions coming up again at the end of the year. It does make me wonder, what's next? What's going to be this pinnacle, this kind of grand finale? And I could never have imagined this corona would have gone the way it's gone, and everything that's happened through all of this. So it's like, I can't even imagine. We can foresee and guess and say, but it's like until it happens, it's going to be like, wow, okay, that's what it is.
Well, the solar eclipse is the actual awakening. Like the lunar eclipse takes us down into the depth of the darkness. And even though the solar eclipse does the same, we come up with a higher consciousness. And through it, we are going to discover our magical gifts. We're going to have to simplify our lives. We're going to have to basically go back to basics. And everyone hates that now because of who it's associated with, but that is literally what these conjunctions are going to do. We're going to go back to basics so we're going to have to build again.
Yeah. I've been getting the Tower card a lot in the tarot,
Yeah,
Tower.
but it's got to be, it's got to be to the benefit of the people.
Benefit of all.
Yeah.
I think this is what the nodes of Taurus and Ophiuchus are doing, isn't it? It's like this kind of, because Taurus is all about the earth and values and groundedness and
yeah, but Taurus always also loves luxury, and it's very self-serving. In the negative, he's a very self-serving energy. So that's why he's opposite Ophiuchus, because Ophiuchus, Ophiuchus would just live natural. She would just, forage in the woods for food and stuff like that, because that's her energy. And, she's all about vibration and, healing. And so, yeah, I don't know. It's really hard. I mean, we didn't know how all this was going to play out this year. We just knew it was all coming in, that there was going to be change and it was going to be big. So even with the grand finale coming up, we could say, yeah, it's politics, it's the economy, it's the Great Reset. People say, like, what is it, the heaven on earth? is it the heaven on earth scenario? Well, it will only be that if we put in the effort to make it that way. You know, but in the meantime, there's a lot of devastation. And we've got to be compassionate.
And support each other.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm feeling a real kind of, in my life, like a real kind of community thing of like just reaching out to people. Are you okay? You know, I've got a friend who's older. She's not been well. There's been a lot of people who've been quite down. So it's just making the effort to check in with people, say, hey, how you doing? You know, and
Definitely.
also asking for help. You know, if we're struggling, you know, with Paul, when he wasn't my partner, had a really bad back injury, and I had to ask for help. You know, and it's like, I think it's really a time of coming together and helping when we can, if we're in our health and if we're feeling all right, resting when we need, staying connected to our heart, and yeah, loving each other.
So keeping the wisdom, you know, keeping the wisdom there as well. Because I was saying all throughout last year, you know, we've all got to get into our self-power. We've all got to get independent in ourselves. But that's not to say we can't reach out. But, you know, it's like with Juno, I've been saying with Juno, I mean, she's a very needy energy at times. And, you know, she's got to have a partner. You know, this is all about being self-power. And it doesn't mean to say you can't have partners or, you know, but you've got to be strong in yourself. And when you do meet other people, you've all got to be on that equal footing, because we're all going to be in the same boat, you know, different circumstances, but, you know, we've all got to, you know, I don't know, we'll see how it goes. But definitely got to be a community spirit, definitely.
Yeah, I'm feeling that really strongly. And we had a real good year of growing food as well. And like you say, going back to basics, what do we need? You know, what do we need to sustain us? And can we grow it ourselves? And we had such an abundance. And there's only two of us, and we've got a small garden. We think, wow, you know, if we had more space, we could do double this and feed, you know, a tribe. I think, yeah, it's going back to the earth and her cycles as well, and the flow of nature and what that's teaching us, and how we can support ourselves by being in touch with the land and nature. And
Yeah. And I think people that do live out in the country that are able to grow food, I would say do it, because remember, look at all the cities. There's only so much. I mean, I'm lucky. I've got a semi-detached house with a garden. You know, I've got loads of space. I can grow food here. You know, but there's people in blocks of flats that have got, maybe some of them haven't even got a little balcony. You know, so yeah. I mean, if it comes to that, then we have to be prepared, even if not physically, at least mentally, be prepared, because we don't know how it's going to go.
No, that's right. I'm just popping onto Facebook. I've got a message coming through here from Maria. She said, I had a message so strong last year from Source, I wrote it down. It said, let go, stay positive. A year from now, a whole year is a surrender, not to be controlled, just letting go deeper. This message helped to accept the whole year and surrender to change. Thank you, Maria.
Yeah, and that's right. This year is all about surrender.
I got a question from Christopher. He said, who is Ophiuchus in myth?
Well, I'm actually just about to write a book on it all. But Ophiuchus is the Christ consciousness energy. It's not the Jesus we know or we've been taught about, you know. I mean, I'm going back to probably like Sumerian times. He would be like Enki, where Pluto would be Enlil. And in Egyptian, he would be Osiris, and Pluto would be Set. Yeah, it's Set, isn't it? Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, it's a story of two brothers, and you know, they've been known by so many different names, just like Isis said, I've been known by many names. She has been known by many names. So, but you know, I'm actually going to write a book on how it's associated to astrology and the 13 signs and the houses. Because even today, we've got 13 families running the world, you know, so 13 is a very, very auspicious number. Yeah.
And we've got Friday the 13th coming up as well this week.
Have we?
Yes, on Friday. We've got Friday the 13th, just as Mars is going direct, and the day after Jupiter and Pluto come together.
Oh,
Magic,
well.
magic. I'm just going to see if there's any other questions. Jenna says, yes, back to the soil, to the earth, nitty gritty. So is 2007 correlating with now? That's what Elias is saying.
I would say it's a similar energy because it happened in the same star sign, but obviously different degrees.
And Pam says, what did you mention about Orisis, sorry? Osiris, was that he holds Christ consciousness?
Yeah, to me, like Osiris Enki, they were the first human beings. Yeah, the first human beings coming into creation, but they were mixed, and we are a product of that. But I'll go into more. But this is why I don't like to put out bits and pieces, because like people go, what? You know, you're a bit off key. You know, but when you, because I've done it all by the pictures, you know, where people have been going into the text, and I've been studying the text for years, and they just don't make sense to me. And I think because, like, I mean, bless the people for interpreting them, but you've only got to get one word wrong and it can change the whole sentence. So I've been doing it by the images, by what they've actually drawn on the walls. I've taken the story from that, but I've also been getting downloads for over a year now. And it's all just been coming together, and I was going to put it out there in a video presentation, but I thought there's just so much information. I think I need to just put it in a book. And that I'm just getting all my stuff together now, all my notes. Because I've been doing voice recordings every time I've had information. I've just been doing voice recordings, and I've just got to put it all together now.
Wow, that's so exciting, Kim. I can't wait to read it.
Yeah. I'm really excited because I'm just so eager to like really put out a lot more information. But like I said, if I'm putting it out in bits and pieces, it's not going to make much sense. Like Ixion. Now, Ixion's been floating around the galactic center for quite a few years now. Now, he's very important as well in astrology and mythology. He's very slow. He's one of the Plutonians. But the last time Ixion was at the Galactic Centre was at the time of the Boston Tea Party and the French Revolution.
Oh my goodness.
You know, so we're seeing big events take place now, you know, and we're seeing the grand finale, because all these conjunctions that have taken place over the years, like when I've gone back on history, you know, Iraq comes up a lot in it. And, you know, we haven't heard much about that lately, which is great, you know, because all we want really is world peace. You know, we're sick of wars, we're sick of seeing, you know, it's like things have got to change. But they got to change for the people's benefit.
Definitely. I'm just going to have one more final check at Facebook. I think my thing pinged off. Pam says, thank you, Kim. I felt this. Yeah.
Oh, hi, Pam. Yeah. My little boots on the ground lady.
Oh, it's been wonderful, Kim. I'm going to have to end it now because I've got my little boy coming back in a minute, any minute.
Yeah.
He's been off playing in the park with his friends. So yeah, but thank you so much. It's been so wonderful sharing with you. Lovely, Kim.
And you.
Thank
And
you.
thank you to everybody that's been supporting us, you know.
Yeah, and yeah, we'll have our new moon coming out in next week, isn't it? On the new moon podcast.
Actually, in a few days, isn't it? 15th.
Blimey, blimey, that's come around quickly, hasn't it?
And I'm like, back to work.
Yeah, yeah, amazing. So we've got a new moon coming up in Libra, haven't we? Yeah.
Yeah. And this is a nice, because the full moon has been, you know, even though it's never going to be really all love and peace, but we've got a little break going on here, you know, so let's make the most of this next couple of weeks. And because after that, it's like bang, bang, bang again, like one event after another.
Mm.
So, yeah, so this is a nice quiet time, like the calm before the storm. Yeah.
Let's just charge up our batteries and
Deep breathe.
deep breath.
Yeah.
Lots of meditation and yoga and things.
I've been doing that a lot because my chest has been, you know, I have to keep saying to people, it's not COVID. It's a smoker's off.
Wow. Well, blessed 11/11. Thank you so much, Kim. Thank you to everyone who's been watching. I'm going to sign off now. But yeah, well, thank you, everyone. And is there anything you'd like to say, Kim, as we're ending?
No, just stay in peace. And
Yeah,
I
much
love
love. Much love, everyone. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing the live. I'm not sure how to do that, but I'll figure it out. Stop live stream, that's the one. All right, so that's done.
Bye.
Yay! And I'm going to